Hello, BookShark Bootcamp. It's your community manager, Jana, and it is Monday, July 7th. I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July, had fun with your family and friends and celebrating. Hopefully you got to see some fireworks and barbecue. Trying to think of all the things that we do. Got to some water, hopefully, a pool or a lake if you're in an area that gets a little warm on this holiday. I was able to enjoy fireworks twice this year, once with my family locally, and then we met some friends a little bit north of us and were able to celebrate a second time. It was really enjoyable, and I hope that you guys were able to celebrate and have fun as well. We're here to talk about the questions that were posted for session 1 Q&A. For those of you who are watching the replay, I want to let you know if you still have questions, please go ahead and tag me in the post for session 1 Q&A. We'll get those answered as quickly as possible. I'll make sure that I go back in and keep checking those. We're going to have lots more members coming to join us. We typically have around 600 members by the time this boot camp is fully going. So it's a slow start in the beginning. A lot of times we have families who come in because their schools order for them. Their orders are just coming in this week and they'll be going out to the family. So in the next few weeks, you'll see quite a few people joining. They're going to go back and be able to watch the replays. And then when they have questions, they're going to ask those questions. And so don't worry if you feel like maybe you weren't sure what to ask, or you weren't sure if you had time to ask, or you thought maybe it was too late to ask. We'll go ahead and just constantly be checking those Q&A posts for each session. I will ask that you guys put them in the session that they pertain to, just so that we can keep it clean, and while join us later and might have the same questions, they can find them there very quickly. So with that being said, our first question was about digital content. If you ordered anything from BookShark, that would have included digital content. And by that, I mean our Math You See has videos. Those are no longer sent to you in a DVD. I don't know how many of you actually have a DVD player. I still have several. I'm a huge advocate of rewatching movies that I really enjoy. And so I have several DVDs, but I know a lot of you younger folks don't have DVDs anymore. So the digital content is going to be the math lessons sent to you via a code in your email. Now, if you did not get that email, I encourage you to reach out to main@bookshark.com. You can call our customer service. They will be happy to get that out to you. Also check your junk mail, because a lot of times those types of emails go into your junk and you don't even know they're there. So other types of digital content, we have the We Sing America songs. They come now digitally instead of a CD. So many cars, most cars, new cars, all new cars don't even have a CD player anymore. So those come to you also as a digital download. There are a few other contents that comes that way as well. So if you are missing something, or your box inventory says digital content and you're not sure how to access that, check your junk mail, and then please give us a call at the at customer service. And the phone number, see if I can get this right by heart, 866-668-0179. That will get you in touch with somebody as quickly as possible. We are really good at getting through emails, so if you also just want to email us, main@bookshark.com, we'll make that happen as well. So that is the question about digital content. The other questions that weren't necessarily posted but have been asked in the past, I'm going to go ahead and address some of those, because again, sometimes you're not even sure what to ask in the very beginning. I want to explain a little bit about what BookShark Virtual is. If you have heard of it, you can see it on our website. You can actually get a sample of our virtual, where you can request access and it will show you exactly what is available to you. But I'll give you a quick explanation. Virtual is an add-on. So what you would do is you would you'd still grab or order all of your content through us. You still get all of books, everything in paper. The virtual add-on is actually a system that you can log into and your student logs into, and they are able to see what their schedule looks like, what they need to do that day, and then we call it the assessments. So for language arts and science, if you guys have opened up and unwrapped your instructor's guides at all, you'll see that they have actual worksheets that come out of the instructor's guide for one student. And if you have multiple students, you would have ordered additional activity sheets. The virtual is actually a replacement of those paper worksheets. Sorry about that. The paper worksheets. So You will be able to have your student log in. They'd be able to see what they need to do. They will go grab the books, read the books independently. If they are able to, they would do the assessments online. It grades it automatically if it's objective, yes, no, right or wrong. If it's subjective, you, the parent and or teacher, will have to go in, but we give you a little excerpt about what should be included in each answer. If you go on that sample, you'll get a really good idea. You have drag and drop, very interactive. You have multiple choice, you have timelines, you have some maps on there. So it really is a great way to get your student independent. If you're a working parent like myself, part-time or full-time, if your students are in your home part of the time and out of your home part of the time, the virtual is an amazing way to keep track of everything. Now, you can also at the end of the year or throughout the year download those assessments so that you have evidence of learning. One of the biggest distinctions of our virtual is that instead of doing discussion questions and having the Socratic method of learning in history, those discussion questions are actually turned into assessments. So again, true, false, multiple choice, drag and drop, short answer. That does kind of free up the parents' time. So maybe you are still reading the read alouds to your students, or you guys are listening to them together on audiobooks, and I'll get to that hack in just a moment. But then your students can log in and answer those questions, those comprehension questions, those go deeper questions on their own through the virtual platform. So I encourage you guys to check it out. I also want to tell you that on our YouTube channel, we have several videos explaining what our virtual is. We have the developer on with us last year in boot camp, Lindsay Lewis, and she does a great job screen sharing and walking you through the things that you can do with virtual. So if it's something that you might be interested in, please make sure to comment in this video. I'll get you the link to the sample, and then if you have more questions, we'll get you set up with an advisor at BookShark so you can get those questions answered. But I just wanted to let you know, as you begin your journey with BookShark, maybe you hadn't heard of that option, but it is an option. I've been using it for 3 years with my daughter. It's been amazing. It gives complete independence to her. Now, I will say she is almost 16, so that's a little bit different than having youngers, but it really does help free up some time for the parent, especially if you are short on time, you have multiple students, or you need some evidence of learning in a different way. So those are some of those bonuses in the virtual. The other thing I want to encourage you guys to do, for those of you who are prepping, watching this live, or getting ready to watch it later on, is, and I'll talk about this more in another session, but a rolling start. So what I mean by a rolling start when you're getting started on your homeschool journey with BookShark is maybe not doing a full day of school to begin with. You're going to want to do maybe just some language arts and history, especially if those two subjects are integrated in our levels D through H, and then complementary I through high school. I always like to keep those together because they do work in tandem. If you're reading about it in history, you're going to be reading about it and using that in language arts. So my A/B personality, I'm a recovering type A, is that to keep those two subjects together. And they're the lengthier subjects in the fact that they are reading intensive. So instead of sitting down your first day and trying to get through all of your subjects at once, maybe start just a week early and just do language arts and history together and get a feel for how it is that BookShark is going to work for you. Another great way to get a feel for how BookShark works is to download our unit studies. On our website, under freebies, we have several free unit studies. They're 2 weeks each. We have sharks, volcano, weather. We have Jane Goodall. We have one brand new one about Katherine Johnson with NASA. We've got some amazing unit studies available for free for you so that you can get in there and start getting into a rhythm and kind of understand how BookShark works if you haven't already used us for those brand new families. It's a great way to continue learning throughout the summer, but not getting totally into school just yet. And for some of you who have those students who are so excited when they see that box of books and they want to jump right in, but maybe you're not as excited and maybe you want to just slow their roll a little bit, then those unit studies are a great way for you to be able to let their excitement continue, but not have to jump completely into the whole of BookShark. So again, the free unit studies are available on the website under freebies. If you have any questions, post them in here. We'll make sure that you get those links. Now, I mentioned audiobooks, and for those of you who are familiar with BookShark, we put this on our alum group as well as our new boot camp, which is 2025. Talk about the audiobook option a lot because BookShark does have a lot of literature, and there are those parents and personalities who doesn't want to skip anything, although you have the freedom to skip things when you need to. Audiobooks are a great way to help take some of the burden off of you and your student. So, as we're setting up our binder on Wednesday for our second session, I want you guys to have your binder ready. If you don't have the BookShark binder, you have your own binder, that's great. If you don't have these week tabs, you can still use these individual. So always giving you alternatives doesn't have to be done just perfect, but we're going to put together the binder. I'm going to talk about where to find the book list, which I mentioned in our first session, the back in section 3. The end of it, there is going to be a book list that tells you what book belongs to what subject and what week they're found in. I like to go through and sit down with my library app and figure out what books are available on Hoopla. Or Hoopla is one that you can use through your library. Those are the books that are accessible immediately. So you don't have to wait. You don't wait in line. There is not, you don't put a hold on it. Now, Libby is another option for free books through your library, but those ones you have to put a hold on. They're not always available immediately. So I want you guys to look into those two things, Hoopla and Livy. There's also Overdrive. If there's another one that your library uses, please put it in the comments so that we can share that with all of us who are looking for more options. You always have the paid versions of Audible, Kindle, those types of things. But however you want to do it, find out what is going to be available to you and accessible during the time period that you need it. Mark it on that book list so that you are prepared, so that you know, okay, this is a book that if we need to listen to it on audio, it's available. Or this book doesn't come in audio, so I need to make sure that when it's time for this in the schedule, that we make sure we maybe are a little less busy during the weeks that we read this book because it is going to take more of our time. Just different things like that to get you ready and prepared to have the best year possible. That's all I have for you guys. I hope that if you have more questions, you will definitely let me know. I look forward to talking to you more and hearing about your journey and what you're going to do and how you're going to make BookShark work for you in your homeschool. I'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to talk about setting up our binder, so make sure you have your instructor's guides, the binder of your choosing, and be excited and ready to go so that we can get on this amazing journey together. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.